Because if you don't, ipso facto, for that very particular reason, you failed in your process, and everybody or an individual can go to court to say, hey, gentlemen, you failed in your process, in your own duty, and therefore leave that place. But because we don't have such provisions today, what do we have? We have mere promises. The government can come and promise that it can bring the moon to the ocean for you and goes to sleep. What do? The Constitution says you cannot espouse such problems because you cannot take those problems to court and be heard.
Mr. Kargbo, the reason I ask this question is a host of people have said that the changes that are being proposed in the Constitution or to the Constitution are too radical. They're such that you might need an entirely new Constitution, which the National Assembly is not empowered to do. Now, the National Assembly have recognized that they're not empowered to do that, but in the amendment process, they've decided to carry on or carry along the public and their constituents by extension. How would you rate the transparency of this process?
Yeah, that's the problem I'm saying. Yeah, the Constitution has said they can do so. Section 9 has prescribed or has stated what they needed to do or what they need to do for them to amend the Constitution. But those are prescriptions. The kernel of it or the main purpose of the Constitution is for the people. If you are doing something for my own behalf or on my own behalf, I think I should be taken along. The idea of just calling memoranda and calling people to what you call town hall meetings to discuss issues for hours and you walk away thinking that you've gone away with the consensus of the public, to me, is farcical. What I think they need to do is, after reviewing the Constitution, pinpointing those areas that are challenging to the coexistence and the efficient management of government, they should sell those ideas to the people, allow the people to participate. People are not so too distant from these facts and from these realities. And the saying is, the more the merrier. And of course, they should know that by their own status and standing in the society, they're a little bit far away and far removed from the realities. The people who bear the brunt or wear the shoes are the majority of the people that they can't reach by the present process of just assembling elite in some places, discuss some esoteric issues, make some aggregation of that and return to say, this is what the people are saying or this is what the people are proposing. No, that shouldn't be the case. In any case, why are you a representative? You are representing a community. You are by yourself an agent of a community. It behooves you, or it is your own responsibility to take these issues that you have identified, take it to them and discuss with them to say, this is our own thinking. My thinking on this is not finished, but this is what I have. I want your own input in this so that when I go back to the center, my word would be your word. When we have that kind of a process, it becomes democratic and therefore it becomes what I would say at the end of the day, a meeting of the mind. And therefore, without you having to go beyond that part, the people are already educated in what is the general law you call the Constitution. It is very dangerous for you to educate the people after you would have, at the end of the day, made the Constitution. Because, hey, what if the people are not educated or understand that? The law is, ignorance of that is not an excuse.
All right, Mr. Kargbo, what's the difference then between what they're doing now and what they did when they amended the Constitution with respect to the Electoral Act?
With the Electoral Act?
Yes.
Sorry, I'm missing you. But
What's
if
the fundamental difference between what the members of the House of Reps are doing now and what they did when they amended the Constitution concerning the Electoral Act and the elections?
Yes.
Did you get that?
Yeah, it's about the same thing. And you see, It's good that you brought that one up. Yes, in the rush and in the feeling that, hey, they could solve electoral problems by just amending the constitution in the manner they did, they had problems. I think the amendment they had created more problems than they had anticipated. You don't make a law that will sacrifice the individual, because the Constitution itself is meant to put boundaries around the individual to protect him against the other constituents and the other phantoms you've created in the form of structures and departments. But what happened in the amendment of the Electoral Act? You create a timeline within which to conclude electoral matters, and at the end of the day, what happened? 9/10 of the matters that went to court didn't see the light of day because what? They died a natural process because what? They were caught up by time. And at the end of the day, most electoral problems were not espoused. And mind you, you see the danger in that, because the people express themselves or participate in governance and in what you now call the state structure through the electoral process. And if the that process in itself is shortened and shortchanged by the Constitution, what would you have? All of those people who were caught up by time and who didn't have the opportunity of espousing their own problem or their own rights because of time, today you don't know what they are doing at your back. You don't know how they are solving their own problem or how they are getting back at the state.
All right, Mr. Kargbo, what happens if they proceed in spite of the objections?
What happened, but? Sorry. Yeah.
What happens if they proceed in spite of the objections, the House of Reps?
Well, of course, mind you, what they have, their mere proposals for now. It's a process. It's a process. When they finish their own part, they're going back to the state. I am hoping that by the time they go back to the states, the people would have the opportunity of actually participating by telling their own state houses of assembly not to ignore their own participation, because I don't think the process of the amendment ends with them, or the better part of it is now. No, the better part of it would be when they take back this amendment or these proposals to the states, for the state to actually have their own input. I think for those of us or any of you out there who have access to the state houses of assembly, this is the time for you to see and have the opportunity to filibuster some of those amendments that you think are themselves not suitable for now or not part of what you are looking for.
All right. Okay. Thank you for speaking with us today, Mr. Sam Kargbo, a legal practitioner, joining us from Abuja. Well, back after this. Please join us again.
Considering the financial expenses often associated with the election, provision for a single term of 6 years for president and governors is made in section 135 and 180 respectively. To make for accountability and an effective local government system, the state local government joint account is expunged from the constitution. State creation. The underlisted 61 requests for state creation were made to the committee. However, none of those requests complied with the entire provisions of section 8 subsection 1. We recommend that the preferred approach at this time is to critically look at the current federal police system with a view to sanitizing and strengthening it.
Local governments bring development closer to the people. For citizens to effectively participate in government, the state independent electoral commissions must conduct free, fair, and credible elections. SIEC should be reformed and strengthened to achieve this goal. Let us add a voice to the current constitutional amendment process and ask for the following. The National Assembly should amend the Constitution and the Electoral Act to delete the powers of state governors to appoint the chair of SEC in their states. SEC's funding should come from the Consolidated Revenue Fund charges, not through the state government. Appointment of SEC staff should not be based on their affiliation to a political party, but rather on merit.